I'm going to talk to you about what AKI is and what the Streams app does to help acute kidney injury, and then trying to compress 3 months of my life into 15 minutes, I thought I'd pick out 3 interesting issues. One is the use of live data for testing. One is the use of independent audit as a regulatory remedy. The final one is big tech meets health tech, and then Julian's going to talk to you about the role of the independent reviewers, which is a really fascinating governance organisation. Just one key point to know about the independent reviewers of DeepMind: none of them have signed confidentiality agreements with DeepMind. They are free to talk about any issues they want. Okay, so very quickly, what is acute kidney injury? It is a very, very serious clinical condition, estimated to cause around 100,000 deaths a year. 1 in 5 of all emergency admissions are for AKI. It costs the NHS about £1 billion a year, and dealing with acute kidney injury, early identification is key. Interestingly, as part of our audit, one of the things that people said to us is actually they wish that the app had been developed to detect sepsis instead, because while sepsis is arguably not as clinically difficult, everyone understands what sepsis is. I don't think anyone really understands what acute kidney injury is. So how does the app work? Well, when you get a blood test within a hospital, then there is a check on the creatine levels within your blood, and those creatine levels can be used to determine whether or not you're at risk of acute kidney injury. And if you are, then both the renal team and the acute care team within the Royal Free have trust-issued iPhones that will deliver an alert to them, because those Royal Free-owned iPhones have an app on them, the Streams app. So firstly, they will be alerted to anyone within the hospital who's at risk of acute kidney injury, but secondly, they have within the app contextual clinical information that will allow them to diagnose whether or not there is a risk of acute kidney injury, but also determine how to treat that patient. So how does the app detect acute kidney injury? There are a couple of important issues to note here. Firstly, it's not using proprietary DeepMind technology. It uses an algorithm developed by the NHS. And this is the algorithm here, and it is really very, very simple technology. It's just a decision tree. I actually got my 12-year-old son to implement that algorithm in Scratch. And I was going to open source his Scratch implementation of this algorithm, but he got a bit bored and did a very bad job of it, so I don't want to shame him with his appalling coding. Again, importantly, there is no use of the Royal Free's data to train this algorithm. There is no value extraction by DeepMind from the NHS data in this case, and the Streams app is not about artificial intelligence. It's about good engineering. It's about a good user experience. It's about security. It's about reliability. We use the app in DeepMind's development environment with synthetic data, and it's quite underwhelming. It just works. Most importantly, DeepMind only use patient information to provide streams. They cannot make any independent use of the Royal Free's patient information. And indeed, actually, the servers on which the Streams system operates are air-gapped. And what I mean by that is they are in a separate data center, separate and remote from Google and DeepMind's main network, are only accessible by people who have a need to access that information to keep the stream systems running. So one of the things we asked as part of our audit into the Royal Free's arrangements with DeepMind is, please give us a list of everyone who has access to the servers containing patient information. And there were 8 people on that list. So 2 DevOps, 2 sysadmins, 2 guys from testing, 2 from database administration, and we randomly selected a quarter of them and interviewed them to find out why they were accessing that information, and they all confirmed just to keep the stream systems running. They wouldn't access the data for any other reason, and in fact, all of their access to the stream systems is logged and then randomly audited as well. So really, really strong controls in place very, very limited access by DeepMind to patient information, only for the purposes of the stream system running. And then if we think about, from a data protection perspective, would you classify DeepMind as a processor? Well, actually, all of the criteria that the Information Commissioner uses in her guidance, all of them indicate DeepMind is a processor. It is a pure processor relationship.